All right, Chuck Dizzle back at it live and direct, man. Keeping it homegrown, of course. And we got to talk to authentic voices, great people, great energy. We got the voice of content branding in the building with us right now, man. We got a lot of things to talk about. She helps you grow on social media through content creation tips, AI tools, strategy and updates, and a whole bunch of other stuff, man. We got my girl Nikki Saunders in the building with us right now, man. What's going on?
What's poppin'?
How you feeling, man? Look. Look, we were just talking about it off air.
Listen, almost died.
Is this your first trip to LA?
No, definitely not. But it's not many. I think this is probably like my fourth or fifth.
Okay.
Yeah, fourth or fifth.
Had an interesting trip. I usually ask this question. We do a topic on the radio, right? Of curbside confessions. No, crazy stories from Uber drivers, Uber and passengers, all that. You had a wild ass story. Can you just open up and let us know what you dealt with?
So shout out to my Tesla drivers and everything like that. It's a very unique community, right? And I guess the Uber drivers are even a more unique community because they're like, oh my God, you need to get this car. Let me explain why. I was a BMW guy and I turned Tesla, and here's all the different models. And the guy that I rode with, he's just egging it on. He's like, yeah.
It does that too.
It does that amazing. He's like, yeah, it does self-drive. Now we're going through all the lovely curves that you guys have here, right? He's like, no, the self-drive, let me show you. I said, oh, we're going to die. He's like, no, this doesn't always happen. This is actually rare. So then, mind you, with Uber drivers, the address and everything is on the phone, right? So he has this thing on self-drive, and then he's like, oh, it made the wrong turn because I don't have the address. So already...
What are we doing?
Right. I'm like, I'm already annoyed, right? Yeah. My guy over here, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. He's like, oh, okay. Books it. Books it. And I say, what is happening? He looks at me like, oh my God, I didn't tell Nikki this was going to happen. So he's like, oh, I don't normally do this for anybody. The threads on the tire, it costs $1,000 a tire and this... Man, if you don't shut up.
I don't need none of this right now. What you talking
just
about?
Get me to my location. He had to do 3 U-turns because he was just showing us all the features and got lost. I said, okay, we are doing only Uber Black from now on. Facts. We're not doing Uber Green. I was trying to save the economy and everything.
Why not?
No, okay, I'm fine. Uber Black. Thank you. Shout out to Uber.
Yo, man. What's so hilarious is that everybody has a story or two, but it's like I can just hear it in your voice, and when I see him, it's like, oh yeah, she definitely got one of them.
I went through it for no reason. You know what? But I totally forgot there's that setting that you could be like, yo, shut up. Don't say anything to me. So I'm going to now use that because before I never had no problem. It was like, hey, how are you? I'm good. Da, da, da. They'll talk a little
small
bit.
talk and then keep it pushing.
That's it. Yeah, put the headphones on. We're good.
Now you know there's a need for it. You like
this
damn
one?
All that.
I'm like, oh no. On our way back, shut up.
I need that shut up mode.
I need that shut up mode, please. Thank you. And
Nikki, I want to get into your journey, man, because we're talking about content creation. We're talking about all things, tools and tips that you give, right? But content wasn't a thing 10, 15 years ago like that, right? So prior to this, what was on your mind? What were you going through? What were you doing? What led up to?
I was in the Navy, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was in the Navy for 9 years, so nothing that I'm doing now had anything to do with what I was doing before.
Can I ask you something? Go. Prior to getting into the Navy, was there something that you wanted to do, or was that always
Absolutely
the goal?
not. I was one of those kids that was like, I didn't know what to do.
Wow.
Right? So, like, first job, GameStop. Second job, Virgin Mega Record Store before it closed.
Wow,
right?
Okay.
So, Times Square, chilling, right? Then went into the Navy. It was, like, super random. It was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the Navy. Mad random.
Nobody pointed you in that direction? You just signed up yourself?
Facts. And left the next week.
Get the fuck out of here. Really?
Very crazy. I wouldn't really recommend that to anybody.
Why not?
Because what I did was, I'm at the time, and still kind of am, I'm like a spontaneous person, right? So I don't do any real research. So I went into the Navy with not really a job.
Okay.
Right? So everybody has like their own designated situation. If you don't pick a job, it's literally called undesignated, and you're doing all the crap work.
Really?
You're sweeping, you're picking up rope, you're painting walls, you're doing all the crap work. And they try to say, oh no, but you get to learn everybody's job and this, that, and the third. So yeah, I did that for like a year and a half, and then I picked a job very quickly. I said, which one's going to pay me the most money
So
outside
that's what you
of the
went
world?
towards.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
going to pick me? And that was IT.
Okay.
So I picked IT, cool. And then after 9 years, I got out. I got like a bank job as an IT, and I was miserable. Oh, I was miserable. I was like, this is not it. To the point where I even got sick. I was like, oh, I can't even go back to work.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then what happened was, in this midst of it, I went on YouTube and found this guy that was screaming at me, who some of y'all may know as Dr. Eric Thomas, a.k.a. E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. I binged off his stuff, joined his community, and I just started adding value. So I had this thing where I used to love music videos when they made sense.
Okay.
Right?
Got you.
So like you heard the words and you saw the visuals, and it
Matched
was
up.
like,
Yeah.
I love this. Then they became movies and I didn't understand it, right? So I was like, I want to create videos that you hear the words and the visuals make sense. So I used to do that with Ease Content. They were like, you want to do our social media?
Wow.
I said, sure. I mean, I'm addicted to it. Might as well.
I do it anyway.
Why
Right.
not?
Yeah.
So then I took his social media from 300K to over 1 million in probably like a year and a half. And now it's at 2.2 million.
Jesus. So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you came in providing value. Was that something that you like knew off the bat? Like, okay, I have to do this in order to stand out, or was it just doing it off of the love? Like, where you learning these things
I
from?
think it had to do with the Navy, because all I knew how to do was serve.
Got you.
Right. So I didn't get a check from E probably for about like 3 years.
Oh wow.
Like I was going to all the events, I was volunteering, I was doing a whole bunch of these things because that's all I knew how to do.
Yeah.
Right. That's the weird part about getting out of the military, going into like, you don't know how to price yourself.
Yeah,
Like, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, no worries.
Whatever you need. Yeah.
And I had fun doing it.
Mhm.
And then so they were like, oh, we need you.
Yeah.
Doing things like that makes you irreplaceable. Because if you're doing it so long where other people are like, "Psh, oh, I need to check."
Yeah.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
Right? But I'm doing things a lot faster than some people who do get the
Got
check.
the check. Right.
Right. So it's like, okay, cool. And it's really good, like, kind of stomping grounds of like you figuring out what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, I never did none of content, none did anything
You
of
just
social
knew
media.
IT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And so I was like, let's try it out. I just have a passion of turning an idea into something visual. And so if you say it, I could probably figure out a way to make it resonate with people.
Has this always been a thing from like back in the day? Like now that you know in the career that you're in right
Mm-hmm.
now, is like, did you look back like, damn, I was actually doing stuff like that earlier on? Really?
The only thing that could make sense in my head is that my mom, at literally the age of 1, put me in front of VH1 and MTV.
There it is. All right. So you got the visuals right there early.
That's all I used to watch. So it was like content from a very early age, and then I guess it translated later, and it didn't make sense at all.
Got you. So my thing is this, okay? Can you bring your mic down just a little bit?
Yeah.
Got you. It's one of those interesting things when you go through this, because it's like you go through the journey, but now like people these days, I've noticed something with people that either intern or I try to bring around and expose them to media, radio. A lot of people don't have the quality of serving in that sense. They want the check, and again, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
However, like, how do you get to the point where in today's age you actually just provide versus going for the check? Because it seems like I've noticed a lot of people want the money. They want the opportunity, but they want the end results. Like, for example, they want to be on the radio.
Right.
Get it, totally understand.
Yeah.
But there's steps before you have to do that. You have to know how to put down your brakes. You got to know how to edit. You know, there's these steps that you have to take to get here. But a lot of people don't want to go through that. They want to skip the process. Can you kind of speak to that? Like why does it feel like it's more of like today's age not wanting to go through the process?
Well, I blame that, as much as I love social media, I blame that on social media.
Got it.
Because it looks so easy. And because of the people before, they made it look so easy.
Got it.
So they're like, okay, you did this and now you're here. And social media doesn't necessarily show you that middle ground of like what it took, all the downs, all the stressful days, all the like, they don't show that. They just show, hey, I started today and now I'm up here.
The highlights.
Right. And so that's where, as you know, as we get older, it goes, oh, I don't have to do any of this because they're just showing what's documented is this to this. Yeah. Right. And that's why I'm like so big on let's document everything because what's missing is authenticity. What's missing is the true transparency of what it really takes. Like even right now I'm going through with my podcast, I'm asking entrepreneurs like, okay, everything you're doing is good. That's great. Yeah. No. Can you talk about the stressful times? Can we talk about taxes? Right. Can we talk about, you know, when you almost left? Like, can we talk about all these things? Because people don't really do that. So, of course, they're not going to serve for a very long time. Of course, they're not going to really cater to certain people's needs because they're going to be like, the only way it's mutual is if you give me a check. Yeah. But would you know what to do with that? Like the point of doing certain things for free is so when you do have the check, you know how to deal with the different customer service situations, to deal with all the ups and downs of it. You're getting paid because you know that part, not because necessarily of the skills.
Got it. Yeah.
And people kind of forget that it's like we're problem solvers. Yeah. And if we only solve some of the problems, we'll never get that check again. But you don't see that. Yeah. Like, you don't.
So what about the people that, you know, they want to get into this field, whatever respective field it is, and they got bills to pay.
Absolutely.
You know, rent's due. Yep. They have all of these things that are going on, and they need the check, but they don't want to miss out on the opportunity. What do you advise that they do?
So what I can only go based off what I did. I kept a 9 to 5 until I reached a certain amount that I felt okay to leave. Got it. Right? I believe in jumping strategically. If you have bills, because I had a mortgage and all that great stuff, I'm not going to be like, oh, I love this. This is my passion. Let me go. And then I'm causing extra stress. I can't pay bills. Then I'm in survival mode. So I rather, even though I didn't necessarily love the 9 to 5, it funded me to figure out what I wanted to do in the future. Right? So I took that money from my 9 to 5 and I went to all these different states where all the events were going, right? I took some of the days off that I had and made sure I was available at these times. I made sure that I did my 9 to 5 work, but then I get home and I'll do everything that I needed to do for what I felt at the time, this is right. And I don't know why, but this is right. So I have to always say, don't jump unless you feel secure. Got it. Because you're going to cause extra stress that you don't necessarily need in life. Yeah. But because everybody's like, if you're a real entrepreneur, you know, shut up.
We talk about that entrepreneur talk like, it's so redundant these days. Like, everybody makes it seem like it's an easy journey. It's like, and then they'll guilt you out of wanting to pursue it. It's like, well, no, if you really want this, you would leave your 9 to 5. You leave your family stranded. It's like, bro.
Shout out to all my 9 to 5s. Shout out because they are the reason why entrepreneurs are doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like somebody got to pay for it.
Thank you. You gonna need somebody to be your number 2, your number 3, your number 4. So we can't necessarily talk bad about 9 to 5s because they're the reason why you even have a business. Yeah. What are we talking about? So like be okay with having a 9 to 5 or a safety net.
Got
You
it.
may be doing some stuff on the side that you may not necessarily want, but create a deadline. You know what I mean? So you're like, all right, I want to do whatever you want to do, right? I ain't got the funds. I got bills to pay, but I do have this so and so situation. I hate it. Okay, cool. How much do you need to make, right? So you can slowly but surely lean off of it to then you don't necessarily have that net no more. Yeah. But what people are like, nah, F that. I'm out. I'm going to. Okay.
All right. See how that works.
All right.
for you.
Get your car repoed.
if you like that.
Yeah,
you know
no. I mean, if you want to downgrade
Yeah.
and shout out to the people like, you know what, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment and I live in a studio. Cool. I won't.
Yeah.
I didn't need to.
Right. Now that makes a lot of sense. And what's so funny is I was one of those people, like on my journey in my pursuit of radio. I remember saying that it came out of my mouth one time when I was talking to my wife, and I was like, yeah, that might not be the smartest shit to say. You know what I'm saying? And I literally was like, man, look, I'm going for this.
Right.
And I had the passion for it. And she knew I was a hard worker and that I wouldn't just leave her out in the dust like that.
Right.
But the moment I said it out loud, I was like, oh, this sounds crazy. And that's a part of the sacrifice that for all my people that want to be in relationships,
Yeah.
right? Or want the family life. It's like, yo, you're going to have to sacrifice something. You know what I mean? And that one thing might have to be a part of your passion and what you're doing. Like you got to figure it out, right? The moment I said that, I was like, that's when kind of it clicked to me. Like, okay, that might not be the best mindset for me specifically. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? It wasn't the best thing to work out.
And it's work for some people. Shout
Yeah.
out to them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not downplaying anybody's journey. My journey is I want my bills paid. I don't want my mortgage to ever work. Like, I believe that it's easy to make money. So I'm never going to stress about money. And I'm never going to put myself in a position to stress about money. Why? That is one of the biggest leading situations for depression. Why would I do that? That makes no sense. So if it's easy to make money, now granted, how much money we want is a different story. That's a different story. But to say you can't make a quarter, that's a lie. To say you can't make a dollar, that's a lie. Right? Now, when we have big dreams of, that's where it gets a little bit difficult. But I just want to always put myself in a position where I don't have to worry about money. And then I will eventually get to the point where work is not work.
Got it.
That's always been my thing.
Yeah.
I'd rather be happy, maybe not necessarily make as much money, because I do know a lot of millionaires that are sad.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, you hear about those.
Sad. And I'm like, you make me not want to be rich.
Like I'm glad to see you going through it.
You make me not want. I don't want that. So I'm good. No, but I believe more in happiness and serving, because the serving will bring all the money and the opportunities.
Now that sounds like, and I know it is, a mindset switch.
It is.
When did that happen for you? Was this prior to being sick at the bank, working at 9 to 5, or was it after the fact?
I think it was just during the bank. I was just like, yo, I would just really rather just be happy.
Okay.
Right? This don't feel right. It's cool money wise. It brings security, benefits, all that great stuff, but it doesn't feel good. And my mom worked 9 to 5 until she retired, and she was cool because I was happy, but she never seemed happy. And I was like, okay, I can't. For some reason, I just valued happiness a little bit more. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure out. And to this day, my mom's like, yo, I wish I could be you. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I could be you, like, to do stuff that makes me happy. Being from New York, I had to do things that paid the bills.
Right.
I had to do these things. Really dope. But, like, I just didn't. I think maybe it's the only child in me. I always wanted to be the opposite of what my parents are.
Got you.
So I was like, okay, you did this. I don't want to do that.
I want to do that. Yeah.
Like I don't want to be that way.
My mom, she broke my heart, and she made me feel good at the same time when she told me, she said, yeah, I put all my dreams on hold for you guys. Like my job at one point, she was like, yeah, I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. But after I had you guys, my job switched to wanting to be the best mother ever. And that was by providing opportunities for you. She made sure I went to college. She made sure that I had the best experiences, that I could do pursue radio and not have her, like not necessarily nagging on my back, like telling me to get the 9 to 5. At one point she was like, all right, look, it's not working out. What are you going to do? And, I went through my route of doing the 9 to 5 and, I have my own journey or whatever, but that was one thing that always stuck out. And she told me, she was like, yeah, man, I gave up on my dreams so you guys could, accomplish yours and just be the best mother ever. So for me, it's like, oh, that's a part of my motivation. It's like, I can't let you down, for one, because you've done so much for me and you didn't get a chance to live out your dreams and the things that you wanted to do. So it's like, I gotta go hard for on that.
Does she do something now that she's like, okay?
So her thing is she's always of service. So she does it through church. So it manifests in other ways. And I try to push her to do the things that I feel like she would love to do. But at the end of the day, she wants to work for the church. She wants to, that's her thing. Yeah. So it's like, I can't be mad at that. Do what you want to do. So I'm not tripping. We didn't really get into, and I want to dive into, how many hats does Nikki wear? How many hats do you wear? Because I mentioned, I didn't get into deeper than the brand. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get into the speaking engagements that you do. I didn't get into the one-on-one consultations. I mean, I didn't even mention that you're, the half of the Nicky and Moose podcast, which a lot of people that are watching this that know you understand. But for those that are seeing it for the first time, how many hats does Nikki wear? What are the things that you do that people may or may not know?
First and foremost, the host of Nicky and Moose podcast, one half of it, CEO of Deeper Than the Brand, head of media for Dr. Eric Thomas, consultant, just a servant, to be honest with you. Just a pure servant. I don't like saying the word, I want to say content creator. I don't want to say influencer. I don't like that word. I don't think anybody really likes that word anymore.
But you have influence.
No, that I do. That I do.
Got what you're saying.
It just, shout out to certain people. Yeah, shout out to influencers who messed that word up. But a content creator, a community leader, because I have Deeper Than the Brand is just a dope community. It's not even about services. It's just bringing other personal brands together to figure it out. Speaker, which that just started. So that's definitely something extremely interesting, because I'm just more of a practitioner, and so it's like I want to. I want to show y'all how to do it. I don't want to just speak to y'all. But that's just some of them.
I mean, but I love that you're taking on those roles and kind of embracing them, because that's exactly what it is. You know what I'm saying? And some people may, they may need to hear it from you face to face in order to get that message. What are a couple of the things that, as all of these things that you do, kind of annoy you about the audience, so to speak, right? And when I say that, I mean, like, you're giving advice out, you're giving a lot of game, you're giving a lot of gems and tools out for the people. Is there anything that annoys you about the process of all this?
I wouldn't say annoy, but I think people disregard the simplicity of success, right? So what I mean by that, and I think we, as like just trying to get to the next level, whether it's in social media content or just anything, we hear, all right, be consistent, be authentic, be transparent. We're like, that's cool. So what about these hashtags? Like, what exactly, what kind of TikToks do I have to create, and this, that, and the third? And it's like, no. I need you to do this part.
First, yeah.
Okay, I was consistent for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, what now? Yeah. Like, that didn't necessarily work, right? It's the simplicity that people really ignore, that I realize that I have to say in like 17 different ways for them to be like,
got it.
Man,
okay. Right.
Yo, I get it now. Like, it's okay for me to like just press record on my phone. Like, I thought I needed the lights and the camera and all that stuff, and I got more views by just pressing record on my phone. That's wild. Yeah. I was like, yeah.
That's what I said 17 times ago.
So when are you going to do it again? You right, tomorrow. And then they forgot. Yeah, like, it's the craziest thing. So I think, like I said, not necessarily annoyed, but like come on, dog. Like,
you know what we're doing here. Yeah.
Don't ask me about this if you didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'll entertain it because I love talking to y'all. So I'll entertain it. But then when you come back and you be like, Nikki, I need to talk to you one more time. All right, did you do? Yeah, you know what? I've been slacking on my consistency. So I'm like, okay, let's talk about it.
I'm not gonna lie because I feel like I'm a creator myself.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing. Like I know what it is.
Right.
It's discipline.
Yeah.
And it's consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two things. If I tweak those things, I know for sure we'll be good money. Right. I'm a perfectionist also. It's just like I want things to be the best quality and the best look. But
let me stop you there. Let me ask you a question. What is perfect?
In my head, perfect is the right angle, the right. But here, I'm going with you.
Listen, I just want to hear your.
I know what's on the other side of this, though. I know that's bullshit. Because
I wasn't gonna say it. I was just gonna let you. I was just gonna let you talk and see like what is in your definition, because I think we all have in our minds what we deemed as perfect based off what we've consumed, right? Yeah. So I'm not knocking anybody's perfect, but then when we break it all the way down, it's like, yo, no, literally, where did we get that from? Like, where?
I think it's based off of what we see work for other people.
Yeah,
and sometimes we judge that, and that we try to, and sometimes it works for us. If it's like you take certain content or you look at a way, I'm just gonna speak specifically for my situation, interviews, a shot, or how, you know what I mean? Like it took me a minute to convert to the Real's way of doing things. And it was like, okay, well, this is working now. Before, the scale of them was completely different, and that wasn't working. It's like, so that when I say perfect, I'm thinking of that. Like, what's the right way? And there is no right, but sometimes there is, though.
No, and I agree with you to an extent, because, look, you said, okay, it's based off looking at what other people do. So we look at other people for a certain amount of time. We're not looking at them 24/7.
Facts.
Okay. So like for you, we'll see certain interviews. We'll see certain stats of what the interviews did. Fire.
Right.
Right. We'll see certain people and who they bring into the seat. Fire. That's perfect. Yeah. Right. We're not taking account of the times that we're not looking and how many times that person got 100 views. How many times that person only got like a comment or two or whatever. How many interviews they did with like no name people until they got like. So yes, there is a healthy way of looking at other people and being like, that's possible. But I don't go, that's the standard.
Got you. That's not the model,
right?
So to speak. Yeah.
Because we're all individually made. So if you're in that seat now doing interviews, you were put in that seat to do it in your way. So it's weird. It's not necessarily weird, but like it's difficult to look at other people when you were supposed to do it a specific way.
Got you.
So you could look at the foundation, like any of the greats, like we're supposed to look at the foundation to be like, okay, this is how I'm supposed to do the interview. For in my case, this is how we're supposed to do content. This is how videos are supposed to look that whole night. We get the foundation. But then at a certain point, it has to switch to, I can't necessarily look at them because they're not where I'm trying to go.
Got it. Yeah.
So it's like, why am I copying this content? Why am I copying this kind of way? Because I'm going to hit a ceiling with it. If I'm cool with being second, I'm cool with that. Like, you know what? You feel me? Like, but majority of us were not made to be second. We were meant to be the one in our particular lane. Right. So it's just like, I look at it from a standpoint of what am I getting to be inspired? So boom, I like that angle. Boom, I like that filter. Boom, I like that caption. Let me stick it all together and then let me create what I need to create while putting my own vibe to it. So I'm always a student of the game, and I always tell people, be a student, but don't necessarily make it the standard.
Got it. So what about those that are, I know you speak to being introverted, right? And a lot of people, go through not wanting to be on camera.
Yeah.
And I think this is dope because you speak to a lot of the AI tools as well. But for people that want to be on camera, but don't want to be on camera, like, How do you talk to that person, and either do you convince them to get on camera?
No, so we believe, and for my introverts, we believe that social media is an extroverted world, right? Because everybody's on camera, everybody's doing this, that, and the third. But when you break it all the way down, I'm with a camera by my damn self. I'm pressing record. There's no audience. There's nothing. Now, does it reach the masses? It possibly can. But it's just me and the camera, right? So if you want to, try that out. But there are so many different ways to create content that people are looking for that it doesn't always necessarily mean you have to be in front of the camera for it to be a video. So you could take a whole bunch of pictures, you could put it into a slideshow, that's a video, right? You can do carousels if we're talking about Instagram. We could do as far as 3D pictures, meaning I take a picture and then I turn it into like this 3D kind of vibe where it's like moving. That's a video.
That's something,
right? There is, you could take text and make it animated. That's a video, right? You can show behind the scenes, do a voiceover, and that's the video, right? So there's different ways of having video content without necessarily you being in front. Like, especially with the behind the scenes look, people are like, yo, my life is boring.
Right.
Okay, you think your life is boring. There is somebody who actually needs to see your life.
Yeah.
Right? So even like, for example, with you, you'd be like, man, I'm just sitting here doing interviews. Like, I'm literally at the same spot this whole time. And people would love to see the point of view that you have of like, yo, who you talking to today?
Right.
Like, who came through? Like, how many videographers you have? Who do you have in the room? Like, people are dying to see that. And people are like, nah, my life is boring.
I think we hold ourselves back. I was sharing one thing with the team recently. One of our videos blew up on the Homegrown Radio page. And it was, as a matter of fact, it was interestingly enough, Nipsey, his Hollywood star, when he got that star on the Walk of Fame, right? And a 10-second video that one of the team members got, they just literally went up, saw the star, and just panned across the crowd. They got
Everything.
like 3 million views.
Absolutely.
I was like,
absolutely.
That's when it kind of clicked to me. I was like, oh, okay, we're overthinking this.
Oh, for
sure. We're overthinking this, man.
For sure.
And it's really that simple. But what I kind of want to pivot to is when do you know the content is not working? Like, when is it time to kind of pivot to try something different? Or, you're consistent, you're doing all these things, you're posting, you're scheduling shit out. But when do you know, okay, this isn't working? You got to try something different.
I mean, numbers are a good way of checking that out, but being realistic with it. Like, you've been doing it for like a month or two straight. Not, I did it 1 week and then I didn't do it and then next week I did it, but it's been a whole month. No, it's been 3 days.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, you have a whole month's worth of data and you're like, all right, this really ain't hitting, right? Like, I may have to shift. Like, for example, yesterday I did a video literally in the shower. Most weirdest thing that I did, right?
Okay.
But to prove that I'm like, yo, I hate that I have to do this, but y'all not seeing my content. Trying to make it more of like an algorithm kind of lesson, but like also to grab your attention just to see what works, right? I'm always testing things out. That worked. That got people's attention to then go see my content, and then the numbers started hitting again.
Wow.
Right? So, because numbers will mess with you to be like, yo, it's not working. But are we playing, I call it kind of like the pay system. So like platform audience you. So platform, we're on rented territory. We got to play the platform game. What is the social media channel putting energy towards? For Instagram, it's Reels. For YouTube, it's Shorts. For Facebook, it's going to be Reels and some long form video, right? X or Twitter is just beyond the damn platform. Right. You mean, like, so we have to look at what the platform wants and we have to kind of put that in our strategy. Why? Because that brings new people in, right? Then we have to do A, which is for audience. We look at our insights and we go, okay, cool. My audience wants this from me. So if I want my audience to share my stuff, to continue to stay there, I got to play the audience game. So they like these 4 topics, and in a vertical standpoint, or they like carousels, they like quotes. I'm gonna do that in that week
within your own content. Got
right.
it. Okay.
And then the why is for you is still your platform. You still get to do whatever you want to do with it, right? So you could create whatever you want, test certain things, that whole nine, and it brings a good balance of, okay, I'm doing what the platform wants, so I'm getting brand awareness. I'm doing what the audience wants, so that brings engagement. I'm doing what I want because I need to still like this thing.
Yeah, at the end of
right?
the day, yeah.
With that kind of like way of doing it, your content is always going to continue to rotate, right? It's going to be like, I'm always testing something out. I'm always playing this game. And so I have a certain kind of data to be like, platform doesn't like this no more. We're skipping that.
Get that out the way.
My audience clearly doesn't like that anymore. Skipping that. I clearly don't know what the hell I want to do in life. I got to keep trying things out. But the cool thing about like with content is no one remembers what you did 2 days ago, let alone yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? So what? Your stuff doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
So what? Do something else. Just do something else. We don't remember.
Sometimes I hate how simple you make it sound, dude. Because I'll be on your lives, man.
Yeah.
I'll be on the content corners, man. Shouts out to you doing that. And I think that's amazing that you've opened that platform up to people to specifically get to the nooks and crannies of every person's like situational thing, right? And you posted, I think it was the other day, and I was so mad. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like this shit. I'm gonna show her some love, right? You said something to the extent of, how do you know that with you? Oh my God, I don't want to fuck this up. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. It was something to the point where the importance of getting your stuff out because it's helping somebody else out.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you can't be mad if, and let's just say we're creators, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just use myself, radio personalities, right? You can't be mad at them going to the other radio personality or the other media personality because you didn't put your content out there. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, we allow trash to beat us each time, and I'm not calling.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm not trying to call anybody's stuff trash, but I'm not trying to downplay what I do either.
Absolutely.
Right. So there are people who aren't as good or isn't as experienced as we are, but because we're not being put out there, there is a lot of, I will say, there's a lot of trash.
A lot of mid out there. There's a lot of mid out there.
That is put out there that our audience has no choice but to go over there because you're not showing up. That's why I always say, like, yo, presence is always better than quality. Because think of it as a relationship. We go to our friends, hey, yo, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You call them every day. They're like, yeah. The second you don't call them,
hey, man.
Yo, you good?
Right.
You all right?
Yeah.
Then if you continue to not, they get used to it. And if somebody else comes through, be like, yo, you good? Yeah, actually, I'm good.
Switched
Straight.
over,
Yo, what are you doing later? I'll come through over there, right? It's the same way with social media. It's the same way with content. If we're constantly posting every single day or in your consistency, because I don't believe being consistent necessarily means every single day. It just means what you promised.
Got it.
You know what I mean?
Got it, yeah.
So if you say, yo, I'm going to be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I expect you to show up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Shows used to be like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So music came out a certain day, you know? So we're used to not it being every single day. But if you don't show up when you say you're going to show up, I'm going to pay attention to the person who does show up.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm going to listen to them because we are influenced by what we consume.
Is there a no to the rules right now? Like, let's just say I want to show up once a week. Now, in today's age of social media, is that like, nah, you kind of got to step it up, bro. You got to.
It depends on how serious you want to be. Can you grow with doing once a week? Yeah. Quickly? No. Probably going to take a few years, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Is it impossible? No. Because then you got to look at like a Toby, right?
Yeah.
Toby posted every single Sunday. We see what Toby's doing right now.
Right.
You feel me? So like it's possible, but it took him a few years, right?
And social media wasn't what it was then, how it is now. So it's like every Sunday worked then because, and especially with the quality that he had, it worked then, but it doesn't work now. And I think that's my point. It's like the rules are changing every 3 months, probably even shorter than that now.
It always changes, and the crazy thing is that it's not hard to be consistent with tools that we have now. Mm-hmm. So like with AI, there's no reason we should not be consistent because we can dub our voice. We can turn a picture and turn it into a video with AI. We can take text and turn it into content. Like, I don't necessarily have to have a huge level of creativity. I just need to have an idea.
Got it.
And I have to just allow AI to kind of just mold that idea into real life. And I have to post it.
You got to put it out there.
That's it. Yeah. We're really at a point where it's like the content is created for you. You just have to post it.
Yeah. That's
it. And people are still like, I don't necessarily have time. Your brand's not a priority. That's why.
Well, another thing you said, yeah, it's not me. It's cool. If you're not taking it serious, that's fine.
Yeah, no. Listen, it's not.
And that's
it's
cool.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
We need viewers.
Right.
We need people to watch some of our stuff. Do I believe everybody is a brand? Yes. Do I believe everybody executes as a brand? That's a different story. So for those people who do show up, it's rare. Yeah. That's why we look, oh my God, look at so-and-so and look at so-and-so. They're regular people.
Right.
What did they do? They just posted and they were consistent. They didn't have anything else. That's it. He's sick of me.
I hate how, because no, honestly, no. We were talking about this. It's like we know the messages. It's
That's what
just
I'm saying.
Success
is simple. It's simple. There's nothing you're not going to hear. That's why when you hear celebrities, influencers, anything like that, and they say, "Yo, what would you tell the younger you?" What is it? Man, just go for your dreams. Be consistent. Be disciplined.
Not with the list.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, do this, do that. And you're like, yo, that's so basic. Yeah. But then when you break it down, it really is. We look at, there is, one of my favorite influencers is Mr. Beast, right?
Yeah.
Millions of subscribers on YouTube. Millions of followers everywhere. And all he did, I'm going to concentrate on doing YouTube videos. And I'm going to post on a consistent basis. And now he has a burger business.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, he gets millions and millions of views every single video because he said, yo, this is all I want to do. Yeah. I just want to post. I want to create videos and I want to post. That's it.
Now, I'm not familiar with. I'm familiar with his content, but does he have any other platforms also, or he just sticks to YouTube?
Well, his main one is YouTube.
Because that was going to be my next question. Is like, if you know your thing is Instagram or you know your thing is YouTube, should you alienate the other social media platforms if you know you're not going to show up on there?
So I'm big on find your main boo, right? Find your main platform and then repurpose on the other ones.
Okay.
Right? The way that social media is, if you can master vertical video, you can kill it on any platform.
Got it.
Any platform, because it's taken by every single platform. So if you know how to grab the attention on a short form kind of content, you're good everywhere else. Now, once you do that, you think about it like vertical video is like an appetizer. I get to know you, I get to rock with you, but I'm going to need longer form videos eventually, right? And that's where YouTube comes in. That's where Facebook comes in. That's where Twitch and the streaming situation comes in, because now people are investing in it. If you look at these gamers, Kai Cenat.
Oh, my God.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Perfect example. The reason why these gamers and these streamers have such a dedicated fan base is because they stream for mad long and we feel like we know them.
Yeah.
So boom, he's doing, let's say, 7 hours a day.
Wild,
yeah. Right? But, and people will say, wow, I can't do that. I can't. Well, then you won't, not, God forbid.
No, but that's...
Then you won't have a meetup that happened in Union Square that went crazy. Right? You see influencers like Speedy that has this whole thing. There's this, there's people in the UK called the Sidemen. They have, like, the amount of people that follow them, and even Mr. Beast, is because they feel like, because of the long form videos, I know you, and I'm gonna rock with you. These short form, and for shout out to the people who stay in the short form, but that's not going to grow a dedicated community like long form video.
Yeah. So I mean, speaking on building communities, that's there's a couple of different ways, but if you could kind of identify the top 3 ways, right, to build a community, have them rock with you, you know, starting off from nothing to then getting some sort of audience, and everybody has their you know, levels of which they want to grow and what they want to do, but starting from nothing at all, a few tips to how they build a community. Yeah.
So once again, the simplicity of it. You have to be authentic. Flat out. You have to be authentic. We're not going to follow a character, right? For too long. How about that? I'll say that. For too long, we're not going to follow a character, right? So be as authentic as you can. Find a social media platform that you are going to be consistent in. Not the most popular one. It doesn't have to be that. It's just the one that you feel the most comfortable in. I always say, like, if I wake you up at 3:47 in the morning, cold in your eye, like, what's happening? What content can you post? Video, audio, picture or written, and what platform do you feel the most comfortable doing that, right? People are going to answer that however they want to answer. I say, okay, so do that all the time.
Yeah.
Because that's your most natural, right? And if you show up as your most natural on a regular basis, people are going to finally trickle in. Now, the big thing is, do not keep them on social media.
You got to convert them to...
Yeah, please do not. Like, we get very caught up on the following, and it's very, like, dopamine kind of like, oh, I'm high off of getting so many followers. But when social media just dies, servers, glitches, whatever, they're not ours.
So are you doing that immediately, or are you waiting until you get
No, I would do it immediately.
Got you. Okay.
Because here's the thing. There are different cycles that we find followers. There are some people that are super ready for whatever you have to give. Like, oh, you're the answer. Here. Cool. I need whatever you have. Put me on an email list. Let me buy merch. Let me buy your product. Let me buy your service. I'm ready, right? Yo, we just met yesterday. I don't care.
I want it all.
I want it now. This is exactly what I want. There's some that you got to court. Okay, you all right.
You cool.
You cool. Let me see you about 30 more times, though. And then I'm going to take you serious. And then I may go on your email list. I won't even buy anything yet. I may go on your email list, right? So we have to kind of serve each and every single one. So you can have a following of 5 people. There may be one person that is ready to cash you out on everything.
Right. And that's what people don't think about. They don't realize the value in those 5 people. Because they look at the 5 and they're like, oh, well, it's not 5,000. It's not Mr. Beast. You know, it's not this, but it's like their money is the same. Like,
but the crazy thing, and I say this a lot, is that we get caught up on the following and like, yo, I'm not growing. And you're not realizing that's the following you're supposed to have at that time. Right? So there's some content you still haven't put out to get an extra 100 people.
Got you.
There is some back end situations where your website's not up, you don't have an email list, you don't have no way to communicate and take payment, nothing. This is why you only have that following.
Got it.
Right? You haven't collaborated with the right people to even validate who you are. This is why you have this only amount of people, right? But people are like, oh, I need to get more, I need to get more, I need to get more. No, look at where you're at right now. Yo, am I really doing enough? Like, am I doing what I'm supposed to do to get another 5 people? Can I handle it? So, like, if we have certain products or services and we're saying, yo, I just need mad people so I can sell my stuff. Okay, if you had 1 million people buy your stuff right now, would you be ready?
Not at all.
Or would you be like some of these companies right now that are like, we're having an 8-week you will get your product in 8 weeks.
Right. Not a good look.
And then it's like, oh, snap.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
Right. So I would say take advantage of the following that you have right now in order to make sure you can cater to them correctly.
Yeah.
Do you know some of your followers first name basis?
Mm.
Do you know what city they live in? Right? Do you know some of their goals? Do you know what keeps them up at night? This is the important part about the whole audience thing. But once we have that following, we have to get them off social media.
So are there preferred methods? You mentioned email list, right? I've seen the text platforms, right? What's some other ways that we can get them off of social media?
So you can put them in an actual, like, you can put them in a community. So what I don't like doing, and this is my personal, I don't like if we're on, let's say, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call that crap, and you say, yo, join my Facebook group. I don't like that. And the reason why is because you're telling them to go from one social media platform to another social media platform that you don't necessarily have the information on.
Right.
And then when you put them in a Facebook group, now they have all the notifications that Facebook is going to push to them. They may not even see your stuff. Right? So I'm not a super fan of that. So if you do the community way, I would say Discord's a pretty cool one to do.
Okay.
Right? Because they get your notifications from that server. Okay. And so you have their undenying attention with that one, right? I'm cool with Discord, but like Mighty Networks, Kajabi is another one where you pay to have this community, right? And you get their email, you get the direct communication, and they rock with you.
Wow.
So I'm definitely big on that. And then of course, if you want to do like in-person meetups, you can do that, right? If you want to do events, you can do that, right? But without their information, you can't do nothing.
Right.
And so if you go on social media, yo, I'm going to do this, that, and the third, cool. That's great. Yeah, then you're allowing the algorithm to show your stuff to everybody, where when you have your own community,
you can blast it all out.
Blast it all instantly.
And one thing, I mean, as you're talking about building community, and speaking of those lower numbers and being in that moment, the at that time the way you're supposed to, what I've noticed, especially for our brand, is like people rock with the story.
Yep.
You know, they love seeing the old grainy footage from back when we were in the apartment to here at iHeart to, you know, me and Ed doing our thing with the podcast. Now it's like they love to go on you with the journey.
Absolutely.
You know, and the numbers might not be crazy,
right?
For speaking for us, but the impact is wild.
And
like,
they're dedicated. They come back
dedicated.
Each and every single solitary time.
I had somebody tell me the other day, they were like, yo, man, it's just so great to meet you. Like, I was listening to you while I was locked up. I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? He said,
it means so much.
I had no idea.
It means so much.
Because, again, we get caught up in numbers, and it's like, oh, well, no, I don't have 1 million followers, or like our network may not tap into that many people, but we're making an impact to the people that are listening. So it's like, that's why I hear you. I understand everything that you're saying, and I feel like I'm that person that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I'm on my way to committing full time with it. But
you have to remember those stories.
Yeah,
you feel
that's
what
the
I'm saying?
gas that keeps me fueled up, though.
Because you probably know a lot of people that have a big following that has no true impact.
Absolutely.
Like, your stories are probably way more valuable than their 1 million followers, right. 2 million followers, or whatever, right? Because what you're doing is people are tuned in. Like, they look forward, like locked in. Yeah. Whatever you do, okay, we're going here, cool. Yeah. You switch times, cool, we're gonna do that. Right. Yo, you got this person, cool. You know, I've been rocking with you. Why? Because you say who you are, who you say you are, and you do what you say you're gonna do. That's rare. That's right. Rare. And there's like, and there's no shade, but for those people who have big numbers, they then go, you know, show up once in a while, boom, boom, boom. They act bougie, and it's like, yo, you're human.
Right. Who do you think you are?
What are we doing? That's cool if you do it that way, but I rather, it's a power of one, right? I concentrate on one person in hopes to impact them, because that one person can change your whole life.
Absolutely.
and we never know who's watching. So we focus, is the thing, like we focus on people who like our stuff, comment our stuff, and follow, right? We're not accounting people who are just watching in the background, waiting for you to come through and be like, yo, I have an opportunity for you. Yo, I've been doing, like, I just been waiting to see you in person.
Yeah.
I follow all your stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we never know who's watching. And that hit me hard probably about like a year ago, right? Where it's like, some people that, I'm not going to name the names, but some people just was like in my DMs like, yo, Nikki, I need your help. And I mean, these are like millions of followers. I said, no, you don't. No, you don't. He's like, no, I don't have engagement. Like, I've been following you this whole time. No, you don't. And you don't follow me. Wow. You feel me? Like, you don't follow me.
You know, when you go on Instagram, it says follow back and it shows.
Right. I know exactly who follows me. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
No, I've been following you for a minute, but we got to talk. So I'm like, let me give the same energy to this following as if I was to give it to 1 million people, because 1 million people are watching. I'm just not aware of it. Mm-hmm. And so just because that number isn't deemed super successful, that doesn't mean they get less of my energy.
No, that's a very good point. I do want to touch on the moments you felt that you were at your lowest, and how did you bounce back from that?
I'll say this. I actually had a really bad, I was in a bad depression earlier this year, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yes. No one would know on social media, but I had there was, being a creative, when you feel like your ideas aren't being heard for a continuous amount of time, puts you in a crazy state of mind.
But it's relative to what you feel like the audience should be getting, or the amount of people that should be tuned in, right? Got it. So
so I'm like having all these different ideas and it's not working, right? And I'm like, what is happening? What's going on, right? And I'm gonna try. And then of course I have a team, so I'm like, let's try this, let's try that, and it's not being executed right, or in the vision that I have, and I'm getting at a super low. Like, why isn't my vision? I had to really sit with myself and be like, one, are you communicating the vision right? You're looking at it in one way. There's probably different ways that you're not seeing. You got to sit down. And because you're doing so much as a creative and just creating, you're not sitting down and making it clear for people so they can get it. So we speak one language and they receive it in a different way, right? And I'm going like, no, I'm saying it. And they're like, no, you're not. Like, slow down. Wow. So it put me in a bad state. And I was like, all right, God, let's figure this out. What are we doing today? Yeah. What do we do? I mean, I was like, I would say like 2-3 months. It was bad. And I was like, okay, boom. So I had to sit down. I had to figure out the language that I'm speaking and what are the different ways that I have to say it in, you know? And that took me a minute. And once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, we're good. Hey, how's everybody? Man. We're great. Repurposing content is an amazing thing when you're going through that, by the way.
I love that you're speaking towards that because, again, people look at you and they see the success. Right. They see the multiple things that you're doing. They see you showing up weekly, listening to you all the time. And they don't think that, and that goes for a lot of people that are visible. They don't think that you're a human in some aspects. They're like, oh, no, she's Superwoman. She's got this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, I actually going through. You're like the third or fourth person that I've asked this month that, And the answer always surprises me because I'm thinking they're gonna give me a story from like 4 or 5 years ago.
No, this year.
It's like, no, this year. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah, this year. Absolutely. No, I mean, there's no point of talking about all the way in the past. It's like, okay, what's happening now, and how does it affect you now, right? And I've been very transparent with my followers. When it does happen, I'll go on live and be like, yo, okay, depression's hitting hard. Why do I go like that? Because I don't want people to think I'm superhuman, right? I want to still be reachable. I still want you to be like, yo, you go through this too. Yeah. Like, I'm not special. I promise you that. Y'all may see me in a certain kind of light, but I promise you I probably have some of the same demons you have. I have some of the same insecurities. I be looking at the numbers too and being like, should I delete that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no, I'm not going to, because I got to. So there's days I don't feel like posting. All right, it's 11:59. I'm still gonna post. You know what I mean? Like I gotta do it because there's people. It's bigger than me. Yeah. Right. And understanding that me being transparent has nothing to do about me. It has everything to do with like, yo, if there's one person, that's in the power of one. If there's one person that can hear this at this moment and be like, okay, I'm normal. Yeah. I don't cool. It was worth it to me. You know what I mean? Like, it may make me look crazy. It may make me sound but what I don't like is that Instagram, Facebook, all these social media is a highlight reel. Of just the best moments. Right. And there's no people that are really coming out there and being like, no, this ain't it. Yeah. This ain't it. The best content that I've created has been a video that's like, I really don't feel like creating content today. And that's my video. Goodbye.
Get out of here.
I promise you. That thing blew. That thing blew. I was like, what?
The Tuesday. I don't feel like creating today either.
Yo, I'm telling you. Those things, because why? Because people are like, yo me too. Right. Yeah. Me too. I'm like, is that like, people type it. If y'all don't want to be on video, type it. I don't feel like posting today. Have y'all ever felt that way? What? Right. Yes, I felt it as a whole overflood of people. And it's like, oh, okay.
As much as I want to be selfish in this moment, no. Because, I mean, we've taken your time, and I appreciate you pulling up, and you have a limited time here. So I do respect it, right? Moving forward, though, I like to ask this question. The year can't end without Nikki doing what? What's on your bucket list? What's the goals? What are you trying to manifest? Personal, career-wise, whatever the first thing that kind of comes to mind. The year can't end without Nikki Saunders doing what?
Damn, that's a very good question. I think the year can't end until... Man, I don't want to say this out loud because then I have to do it.
You gotta do it. Yes.
Then I have to do it.
Say it now. You gotta do it. Because you get me all the time. I'll be at my house like, damn it, Nikki. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to put it out there.
For me, the year can't end until I really do kind of like a live meetup for my community. Like, I think it's like I'm what I call like a extrovert introvert, right? So to people, oh, Nikki's like, yay, and then I stay home. Like, there's a reason I'm not here all the time. Right. Like, I mean, like, I stay home. I don't go outside too often, but I've realized that some people just need to be together, and so I already know that I probably got to set that up. So. Yeah, this year I'll probably figure it out.
The meetup is happening.
Yeah, the meetup it's like we have Invest Fest this week, and so that's kind of going to be like the little start of it, right? Because last year was great. Man, dude. For the extrovert introvert in me, that was wild.
Really?
Oh, that was wild. Because and this is why I say you do not know how big your impact is truly. Because I went out there, mind you, like, regular person, kid from Queens. Great, right? Yo, Nikki, I love what you do. You're the reason why I do this. They have these vendor markets. I could not get down one of the rows for a whole hour. without people like, yo,
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. Oh my God, I watch you every single day. I'm like,
No.
no, I've never seen you. Like,
You, I know a lot of my followers. I
don't remember you.
don't remember
Like,
seeing
yeah,
this
no.
in the DM.
People are like, yo, I'm in the community. I follow you. I'm not active. Like, I don't comment a lot. I don't know, but I watch you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is crazy.
Is it a goal to get those people who aren't active a little more active, or are you okay with them receiving and being impacted by just watching?
No, my goal is for people to feel comfortable with who they are and show up as who they are. Right? It may not be on social media, but it may be somewhere else, and they feel comfortable and they're consistent there.
Got it.
Right? So I just say, like, social media is just a tool to show who you really are. It's not a task. It's not a lifestyle or anything. It's just a tool to show who you really are. The content is just another situation to show who you are. Right? You figure out which one is the most natural to you, and you do it all the time because that's who you are. Right? It's not anything else. Now, you may be like, this is way too overwhelming, but I got the core message of it, and over here, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
That's all that, like, really matters to me, because at the end of the day, I just want people to succeed in their own way. Now, granted, I would love for everybody to take their idea or whatever they have in their head and make it visual for the world to see, because social media is the only tool that will make you worldwide.
Man, I love it, man. I love everything that you're doing. You have me as a resource out here for whatever you need. I just appreciate you pulling on up and having this conversation. You know, we've been following each other for some time.
Absolutely.
And, you know, interact on each other's content. And I'm like, oh, man, let me know when you're in LA and you did and you're here. And I just appreciate your time, for real. All right. Where can they find you?
Yeah.
What can they consume?
Yeah.
What do you have coming up for the people to actually, you know, tap in with?
So my podcast, Nicky and Moose, I love that podcast. It is a podcast that goes over celebrities and influencers and breaks down all their branding and business situations. So the regular smegulars like us can grow up to be like them one day. So that's Nicky and Moose. Follow me on all social media platforms at This Is Nikki. Nicky with an S at the end, please. Thank you. Not the Nikki. That's not me. I ain't it. Right. And then the community, Deeper Than the Brand, deeperthanthebrand.com. That's where anything content-wise, AI-wise, you get it over there. It's a vibe.
I love how you embrace AI versus being afraid of AI.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people...
You going to get me in that bag? Come on, we can talk about it.
I'm just saying, a lot of people fear the AI.
I don't know why.
Is it something to fear? Because, you know, people are worried about jobs getting taken. People are worried about... They fear the unknown, right? And that's really what AI is as of right now. So I do want you to kind of dive into that AI bag, because I see you doing a lot of content around that, and rightfully so. Why is AI so important for you to kind of like really, you know, take hold of and make sure people know about?
So we fear everything we don't know, right? So I look at AI more like how factory workers looked at the machines, right? It didn't fire everybody. It fired the small things, but the person who knew how to press the button, they didn't get fired, right? So I look at AI like that. Like, if we understand how to use AI, we will never be replaced, right? AI is there not necessarily to replace us, to enhance us, but the person that knows how to use AI is going to replace everybody, right? So if I know, if for example, from a videographer, photographer kind of standpoint, right? If I'm charging so-and-so, let's say, a crazy amount for one video, but there's a person who can make 30 of those videos for quicker, I'll pay them that same price.
Right.
Because you're giving me more, right? In a way faster standpoint. So I'm looking at it, for one, AI is going to allow us to be way more productive. It's going to allow us to be a lot more creative and actually tap into creativity that we didn't even know we had, right? Because a lot of us think, especially if we don't call ourselves creatives, are like, oh, I'm not creative, I'm not good at this.
They go to lisp again.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. I don't want to do it, right?
No, don't talk.
No, I'm not good at it. But I believe that creativity, everybody has creativity. There's just levels, right? So if you can tell me, yo, how your day was. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You have some type of creativity. You just don't know how to maybe make it super visual or in your way perfect.
Got you.
Which you think is perfect in content, right? So with AI, it allows you to get that insecurity out. Because I could go, yo, type me a French bulldog in a hoodie with a chain in New York. Can I draw that? Absolutely not.
Right.
Do I know how to use Photoshop? Absolutely not. But if I go to Midjourney and I type that in, it's going to create 4 different variations that look fire.
What about the person that is not good at captions or not good at being descriptive, and now you have to type this in somewhere, and that's just not your thing?
So here's the thing. So one of the major ones that probably everybody has heard is ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT has an app that you can talk to it.
Got it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and it's literally, when I say talk to it, you literally just talk to it. It's like, yo, I have this idea. Help me. Don't do it. Don't tell them to do it. Help me execute on this. Ask me different questions that will help me get to that output.
Wow.
And the results that you will get is crazy compared to, write me 10 captions on this.
Right.
Write me this. Write me that. Because you're not giving it any kind of information. But if I was to be like, yo, I got this idea about this particular audience and I want to do these things, help me figure out how to do that.
Damn. That's the starting point.
That's the starting point. Let's just talk to it.
God, man. Again, why do you make this shit sound so
because
easy,
it is.
man?
I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Simplify this shit. Was there any questions you guys had at this point?
Come on.
Yeah,
Wax, come here. Talk to the mic, man. Real quick. Yeah. I didn't want to say nothing. I didn't want to push you, but when she said that, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I recently got fired from my job in June, and I'm a creator. I'm an artist, painter, got my own clothing line and whatnot.
Come on.
And so I'm struggling at the age of 33. I'm like, this can't be it. So I went to go talk to my recruiter. How do you feel about that journey you went through? And like, how do you feel about, I don't want to say I'm giving up, but how do you feel about me going through that while still trying to be a creative?
I think that's fine. So I don't regret going through the Navy. Was it for me overall? Clearly not, because I'm not in it. Like, you're supposed to do 20. I did 9. That's it. I don't want to do no more, right? But the experience that I got, it cannot be replaced, right? And as far as being creative and doing that, you're allowing life lessons to now inspire your creativity, right? So there's going to be some things in the military that you're not going to ever see here, right? In civilian life, anything like that. So, but then there's going to be a lot of BS that you're like, bring me back. I don't want to do this at all, right? But it's going to allow you to find you're going to have to find the time to create, which makes your creative work way more valuable. Because here we have all the time in the world. And so sometimes we procrastinate because we have all the time in the world. Over there, we don't have all the time in the world. So now we're being creative with our time. So I do like, as far as if you go, yo, I'm going over there, I don't look at that as a step back, right? Because I look at that more like even those people who are entrepreneurs and they get a 9-to-5. It's the same situation, right? You're building a foundation and figuring things out so you can come back stronger. So I'm all for it if that's the way you want to go.
Cool. That's on my mind the whole time.
Man, when she said that, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. We just had this conversation. You don't know how impactful you are. PB, anything you want to ask, or you want to ask off camera or on camera? You good? Okay. Just want to make sure. All right, man. Nikki Saunders, I appreciate you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for pulling up. Again, everybody follow her, support her, be impactful to her community as she is to you. You would catch me in your live multiple times.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Always love. I appreciate this. This is the first of many too. So
Yeah,
I
of
look forward
course.
to having more conversations throughout the years, throughout the journey.
Let's
All right,
go.
Nicky Saunders, ladies and gentlemen, Homegrown Radio, Chuck Dizzle. Shout out to my brother DJ here, man. Live and direct. I'll catch y'all next time.